So Spain has it's a really unique history in the fact that it's been inhabited by so many people over the centuries, and I guess conquered and kind of invaded by so many people. And every people who has come into Spain over the years has contributed to the current climate of the country as far as architecture and the food and the language, the art, music, everything. So it was originally inhabited by the Iberian people, and then later the Greeks came in, and that was like in BC, like a really, really long time ago. And then it came under rule of the Roman Empire around 200 BC. And that's when Christianity was introduced to Spain as kind of the main religion in the Spanish Empire. So after the Roman people, the Germanic people kind of invaded Spain, and then the Moors, they're a Muslim people from North Africa, the Moorish people. They invaded Spain from northern Africa, and kind of spread Muslim influence and religion all over the country. And there were a lot of wars between the Muslim and Christian people for a long time in Spain, and that was in about 700 AD that they invaded. So there was a lot of tension, and then in the Middle Ages, it was like I said, just lots of religious wars and wars between different countries. And then I'm thinking so Ferdinand II and Isabella, they kind of came together in the 1400s, and they united Spain, the two kingdoms of Spain, Aragon and Castile. They united it and kind of created a more centralized government and identity that went along with Spain. And I skipped ahead. So after the Moors and the Muslim Moors invaded Spain, then the Christian Reconquista, the reconquest of Spain, that happened toward the end of the 1400s. And so the Christian the Christians, they drove Muslims out of the country, and kind of helped the country convert to Christianity again and renounce Muslim, Islam, and Judaism. And it kind of gave them an option to flee the country or to accept Christianity. And they established Roman Catholicism as the official kind of not required, but the official religion of the country. So that's where Catholicism, it's been into play for hundreds and hundreds of years, and why it is such a big part of Spanish culture today. So then the Spanish Empire was really powerful, one of the most powerful in Europe and the whole world, and they conquered Mexico and Peru, Spanish conquistadores, and then it conquers, I guess. And then they had wars, and I guess we'll jump forward to the Spanish Civil War. Took place in 1936 through 1939, and it was Francisco Franco, which he represented the Nationalist Party, and they were backed by Nazi Germany and Fascist Italy, and it was them against the Loyalist Republicans of Spain. And eventually that civil war totally threw Spain for a loop. It cost hundreds, thousands of lives, and eventually in 1939, Franco, he overtook the throne and established a dictatorship with himself as the head, as the dictator of Spain. And he ruled for 40 years. And during that time, which actually I met a lot of people on my mission, the older generation, they were able to tell us a lot of memories of that time. And he really stressed authoritarianism and just a forced unified feel in Spain. So everyone had to practice Catholicism, Roman Catholicism, and He ordered for the architectural styles to be exactly the same. So that explains why so many buildings in Madrid are built out of the same materials and the same architectural style. And kind of he limited freedom of speech and freedom of press, and people just generally didn't have a lot of freedoms during that time. And then he died in 1975, and King Juan Carlos, he abdicated, or not abdicated, he took the throne as king in 1975, and Spain was restored to a democracy again after all those years. So it's now a constitutional monarchy in that there is a lot of freedom, and it's kind of similar to the United Kingdom's. It's pretty similar to the United Kingdom's government, where there's the royal family. King Felipe IV is the king now, but during that time, during the dictatorship, many Spaniards felt oppressed, but since it allowed a religious freedom to be in Spain, and that allowed the church to come in and flourish. And like I mentioned earlier, lots of Spaniards really wanted to explore different ways of thinking and find what worked for them, since all of a sudden they had this freedom of religion and of lifestyle. So since then, it's worked pretty well, and it's created kind of a pretty unique culture, and all the influences of the people who have been in Spain over the years makes for just kind of a big melting pot of cultural influences, and it's just interesting to see how Heavenly Father knew Spanish history, and he kind of prepared the Spanish people to accept the gospel on their own terms when they were searching for the truth after having been under oppression for so many years.